they speak in vos, que vos, instead of like tú or usted, which are a little bit more formal. A vos. Vos in another country would be very disrespectful unless you were talking to like a dog or a very, very small child. Just kind of like being cutesy with it. But they talk to their best friends in vos. It's like, ¿qué hace vos? Which just means like, what are you doing, man? It's very slang Spanish, especially with like the youth. They're always speaking in vos. So that was something that they didn't teach me in the MTC, which I wish they would have at least covered, because I wasn't expecting it. They'll speak to missionaries usually in vos. Like I said, they have little phrases in Guarani which they'll mix in, which are always really fun to learn and stuff, and it usually takes a long time to understand, but that's fine. They will always say, to say cool would be purete. They always say that. That'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool, or awesome. They always say purete. Just means awesome or cool. The missionaries always do that. A lot of the I thought that this came from the missionaries, but apparently a lot of the Paraguayans do it too. So they'll just be like, hacueterei, which means it's really, really hot. And then they'll wipe their brow as if they're sweating and then flick their finger like that. So you'll see that all the time, like especially out in like the middle of nowhere, the ranchers and stuff. Hacueterei. And they'll flip their finger and then pretend as if they're like flicking off their sweat from the finger. So that's just like a little funny thing that they always do in Paraguay. So I had a very difficult time learning the language. Like I said, I was really stressed out in the MTC about not knowing Spanish. And I get to the mission and I expected, okay, I'll probably be able to talk to most people, and I felt pretty confident. And I realized pretty quickly that I couldn't communicate very well. And one of the biggest things that helped me was actually talking to little kids. So during lessons or after lessons, you get to like interact with the people, and they usually have tons of there's just always so many little kids in Paraguay. There's just tons, and they're so sweet and they're so innocent and humble, and they just love talking to missionaries. So that was the biggest thing that actually helped me get better at Spanish right at the beginning, was just talking to little kids and just trying to have long conversations with them, just because their vocabulary isn't super good and neither is mine. So I would always just try and just communicate and just practice that, because with the adults, once they realize that you don't speak Spanish very well, they're usually inclined to start talking to your companion, and you lose a lot of that practice. So I would always just try and talk to those little kids and just practice on that. So